Take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. I'm taking off Earth today.
Gavin Newsom is running to become Trump's top antagonist. The California governor, or more accurately, his staff, has been mimicking the president's trademark all-caps Truth Social rants with posts like this. Donald Taco Trump, as many call him, missed the deadline, 3 exclamation points. California will now draw new, more beautiful maps. They will be historic as they will end the Trump presidency. Dems take back the House. Earlier, Newsom held a press conference to unveil California's new redistricting push. Watch.
Today is Liberation Day in the state of California. And as Senator Schiff said, Donald Trump, you have poked the bear, and we will punch back. We cannot unilaterally disarm. They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides, because they know what Donald Trump knows. He's going to lose the midterms.
Somebody else was at the Newsom news conference. Border Patrol agents were outside arresting illegal immigrants, and it sure set off the governor.
They detained one person. One person was detained. They were there to scare people, to try to intimidate people. Unidentified federal agents. There was nothing about immigration enforcement with this. Obviously, you'd have to be a brain-dead moron to not know that.
Pretty sick and pathetic. And it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under. That they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. Said everything you know about Donald Trump's America. And that was top down. You know that for a fact. And they'll deny it, I'm sure. Maybe they won't deny it. Said everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States.
What do you think of that, Charlie?
The guy is such a faker. He's such a fraud. It's so absurd. Who has time to come sit down and make up all?
How is he sitting? Why is he sitting like that, bro? I thought that was feminine. Wait, they both have their legs crossed? They are sitting the most feminine ways possible. I thought that was gay to them. They said it's gay to sit like that.
Such a fraud. It's so absurd. Who has time to come sit down and make up all of these tweets? And if you read them, he put a lot of effort into it. And he really did try to sort of like get the voice of Trump. And I just...
You think that's a lot of effort to scream like a crazy person in all caps? You think that's a high effort endeavor?
You know, when you look at the real problems that California faces, with whether it's the same ones that, that we face nationally with illegal immigration, but also the very specific ones, you have entire neighborhoods that were burned to the ground a year ago that are desperate to rebuild, and his government is preventing people from...
Trump denied FEMA funding to California and wanted to tie it to partisan goals in his big, beautiful budget bullshit.
Rebuilding those houses. You would think that he might focus on that instead of doing these ridiculous effort to try to channel Trump.
I mean, gerrymandering here is going to be a big thing for California in the future. If Democrats control Congress, they get the FEMA funding they need. California pays so much money into the federal budget, and Trump Republicans want to deny that to California because they hate their fellow American.
One of his tweets at 9:42 this morning said, Donald Trump and Greg Abbott are going to have a very bad day today, which sounds a lot like
Don't cry. Don't cry.
Bob, or like the mullahs in Iran when they're like talking junk on Twitter as Donald Trump is like bombing their nuclear facilities. He's ridiculous. He's completely unserious.
You compared him to Iran.
He reminds me a lot of Michael Avenatti before Michael Avenatti went off to prison, when everybody was like, oh, this guy's going to be the next president. This guy's not going to be president. This guy is a ridiculous buffoon, and he's not going anywhere. It does remind you, though, how much of a complete original Donald Trump is. All these people want to like mimic him.
It's actually really easy to be original. If I go into Walmart and shit my pants, I will be the original Walmart pants shitter. I will be that guy to trademark it. I will be the original. It does not mean good.
He's not mimicking anybody. He is the original.
Yeah, I think that I hate it when people copy everything else. Like when my sister did it to me, that would drive me insane.
Wow.
Yeah, Angie, hardest hit. But they several of these people are trying that, or they're trying to be tough, and it's not authentic. And it's like, just why not just try to be yourself? It's the worst way that you can try to find some sort of cohesion with people outside of your bubble is to just be yourself, not to try to be somebody else. And in this case, Trump.
But themselves have been rejected again and again now by the voters. Voters don't want defunding the police, defending the criminals, higher taxes, more regulation.
Defunding the police, not happening. Biden wanted more police funding. Democrats in general passed huge police budgets. Defending criminals, nope. It's always defending people who are having their rights violated.
Look at his
Increasing taxes on the wealthy. People want to increase taxes on the wealthy. They want to do that. Americans are in favor of increasing taxes on the wealthy.
California. Everything beautiful about California was God-made. Every disaster there, to me, seems man-made. And he's the man right now of the moment. I'm not even sure anybody tuning in.
If you think God made the good things but not the bad things, you're not a real Christian.
Dana, let alone a California, halfway into his press conference, even knows what he's talking about. They presume that we all know what brought us to that.
Remember when she abused her daughter repeatedly? Remember when she did that?
Moment that platform says
Kellyanne.
rigging, election rigging response act. Adam Schiff's behind him of all people. Next, they're going to invite Kamala up to the podium. I mean, Adam Schiff of all people, who's got a true problem on his hands, having lied in the mortgage application thing. He's a senator from California, yet somehow he lives in Maryland. And here's a guy who lied to all of us day after day. There's evidence of Russia collusion.
She's 58 years old. I thought she was both 70 and 40.
In plain sight. This is relevant now because these investigations will continue. I don't think this is a case of flattery is the greatest, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I think it's a messageless, rudderless, leaderless party. And by the way, just north of him up in Alaska, starting tomorrow, President Trump is going to literally own the turf again. He's trying to bring about yet another peace deal. We have Armenia and Azerbaijan. We have Cambodia and Thailand. We have what he's doing in the Middle East. We have direct foreign investment, all these trade deals. He goes to the Gulf states.
When Trump invites Russia to Alaska, and he tells Russia Alaska is actually Russia because it used to be Russia 200 years ago, and he tells Putin that he's a good Pookie Bear, and he proposes giving Russia literally everything they want. After Russia increased their drone strikes on Ukraine by 4 times, quadrupling it since Trump took office because he's such a weak, pathetic, dull asshole. Same goes with Palestine. The situation got worse there as well. But again, they think Trump is sexy. They are gay for Trump. They are Trump sexual, and it's just how it is for them. It's homoerotic. Their adoration of Trump. He's their leader. He's their daddy. He's their pack leader. It's not about what he does. It's about who he is. They just love him. He's divine.
He was out of there with investments in this country. And now he's going to do it again with Putin. And meanwhile, you've got Shifty Schiff and Newsom trying to...
Shifty Schiff and Newsom. They talk like kids. They talk like kids talking about a TV show. It's hard to interact with them when they sound like such idiots all the time. The Shifty Schiff, and it's all... You got to know their reality TV show they're talking about. Wow. Trump vows severe consequences ahead of the summit. Yeah, dude. 100%. No one's calling this number. No, I'm not debating a 12-year-old. Someone texted me, they said I'm a 12-year-old. Can we debate a different topic? I'm not debating a 12-year-old. Charlie Kirk does that, but that's tough. How's it going, guys? I'm not going to make it 10 hours. It's impossible. Especially because the people who paid for that are not even here. Dave Smith dominates neocons. Did they talk about Russia and Ukraine on Breaking Points? When did they talk about Russia, Ukraine? Oh. I've heard Crystal Ball did complete Russian propaganda here. I'm not sure if that's true, but the title is Trump-Putin Alaska Summit set as Zelensky freaks.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Crystal?
Indeed we do. Big show today. So Putin and Trump are going to be meeting in Alaska. Might we get a Ukraine peace deal? We will break all of that down for you and what the indications are. Also,
is there something that makes far lefties pro-Russia, or at least carrying water for Russia? Is it the very active anti-American military stance, they're very anti any military anywhere, and they're against interventionism no matter what, even if it's a correct thing to do? Is it because they're just so against the American empire, they need to be against all foreign policy endeavors?
So we're going to dig into some social trends. I don't know if you guys saw these viral charts. Social scientists are sounding the alarm over some significant personality changes, especially among younger generations. So we will try to figure out what is going on there. Israel assassinated a well-known Al Jazeera journalist and his entire crew. We're going to have an editor over at DropSite News who knew him well join us to talk about his life, his legacy, and also Israel's just relentless murdering of journalists and the silence from the West as that has been ongoing. We're going to dig into some wild comments made by ADL's Jonathan Greenblatt, including some on
monthly or yearly memberships. We're always looking out. And then more importantly, send an episode. Crystal said we're going to start with the Ukraine-Trump summit, or Trump-Russia summit. Ukraine is still a questionable one. It will take place on Friday in Alaska.
You mean Trump has cut Ukraine out of every discussion about their future? Ukraine has not been allowed at the table. Putin has spit in Trump's face multiple times. Trump tried arranging a place for Russia and Ukraine to meet on multiple occasions. Putin said no. Trump was a little bitch boy, as usual.
Going on here behind the scenes. Here is Trump now talking about it in the Oval Office. Here's what he had to say.
President Zelensky has to get all of his everything he needs, because he's going to have to get ready to sign something, and I think he is working hard to get that done.
Crystal Ball thinks every single foreign policy action is military-industrial complex. Oh, it's like they think everything is big money. The donors.
Well, you're looking at territory that's been fought over for 3.5 years with, a lot of Russians have died, a lot of Ukrainians have died. So we're looking at that, but we're actually looking to get some back. And some swapping. It's complicated. It's actually nothing easy. It's very...
No swapping is going to be happening. Trump means swapping his dignity for Putin's big, fat, Putin's big, fat...
complicated, but we're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territories.
Yeah, there is no swapping. It's giving Russia whatever they want and making new lines that Russia's going to take and then expand more upon. They are not going to stop invading Ukraine ever. Kyle said, did you hear Trump might do a deal with Russia for mineral rights in Alaska? Yeah, well, Russia has this big propaganda push for the Arctic Circle being the new frontier. That's why Trump was obsessed with Greenland. Russia gave him that idea, as well as like Peter Thiel. But they view, like, as climate change makes ice melt, as climate change does all this crazy shit to the globe, the Arctic Circle is going to be available for trade routes and shit. So there's a really crazy dystopian hellscape that they imagine, and they think that that's going to be a big region to capture. And that's why they care about Canada too, right? Canada, Alaska, Russia, Greenland, and that kind of creates the whole Arctic Circle there.
Betterment of both, and but we'll be talking about that either later or tomorrow or whatever.
Pay very close attention to what he said there about the swapping of territories. That is going to be the crux of this entire summit and whether or not it is successful or not. Let's go and put this AP story up on the screen. Trump says he will meet Putin next Friday in Alaska to discuss the end of the Ukraine war. It remains up in the air whether President Zelensky will attend. Originally, they had floated a summit which was bilateral between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, and then trilateral, including the Ukrainians. However, the Ukrainians are making quite a bit of noise now afterwards and drawing some red lines of their own in the sand. This entire idea of swapping territory is the one which the Russians are going to have the most trouble with, Crystal. By the way, the way that this has all come about is so preposterous that, look, I mean, I generally am more supportive of Witkoff, I think, than most other members of the administration, but this is part of the problem.
Witkoff, the real estate developer who's tied to Trump's crypto ventures, who goes around the world with foreign policy and uses that to make Trump money through crypto. That Steve Witkoff, the guy who is a dumbass who, bro, he is such an idiot. He doesn't know, like, anything about shit.
with having a guy who's doing Gaza
You
and
hear
in
him
Ukraine
talk,
and
he
also
sounds like an
previously
absolute dumbass.
previous qualifications of building the Fontainebleau Hotel in Las Vegas, is basically he met with Putin.
Las
Putin
Vegas
was like,
Hotel.
sure, yeah, let's end the war. I'll have a ceasefire. And that will entail basically freezing things where they are. Witkoff thought that to mean that he would be open to not just a ceasefire, but potentially giving up some territory. Putin in his comments have been like, no, that's
Witkoff
not
is
what we're
such an
doing.
idiot.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Ukrainians are like, hold on a second, we can have a ceasefire. By the way, Ukrainian law says that we need to have a national referendum on whether any of that's going to happen. Remember, the entire country, plus the delusional Europeans, all still believe that Ukraine needs to be restored to its original borders.
Including Crimea.
Including Crimea. So it's like we are basically nowhere in terms of the continent.
So Sauger believes that might means right. So like if you're a bigger country, a more powerful country, and you want to take over a country next to you, you should be able to. And there should be no international law or any type of legal system in general to protect people from that kind of thing. So if Russia takes Ukraine, he doesn't care. He only cares about isolationism and America. He views the American national interest as not being involved in anything ever, at all, ever.
Conflict. There's been no diplomatic resolution. At the same time, Trump has
And he's also buddies with Tucker Carlson, and Tucker is paid off by Russia, like directly, is a paid Russia propagandist. So Sauger has a lot of weird connections.
Introduce these secondary sanctions on countries like India, which currently has a 50% tariff. The policy of the United States right now is all over the map. We are both in a more hawkish direction with harder sanctions than Joe Biden ever proposed. The United States is currently shipping just recently some $250 million of offensive weaponry to the Ukrainians, including the shipping of a Patriot battery, which was never open under the Biden administration. And yet at the same time, we're meeting here with Putin. I mean, look, my card's on the table. I want the war to end, but that's going to require some serious compromise from the Ukrainians and the Europeans, which they have not yet been able to make. So right now, things are crazy. They are just totally ambiguous. The summit itself and how it will all come about is one which is indicative of the Trump administration, which is like flitting about basically from policy to policy. We went from berating Zelensky in the Oval, saying you don't have the cards, to actually he does have the cards because he's getting most of what he wants.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
We're meeting with Putin on Friday. We'll see what happens in Trump's words, because I don't really have anything else.
So is Crystal gonna be pro-Russian? Is she gonna blame Ukraine? Is she gonna say some stuff about Ukraine, like about Russia having a real reason to hate Ukraine?
Yeah. Well, let me start with the positive. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's good. I agree. I agree.
support it. I support
Listen,
them
they
meeting
should have met on day
Venezuela.
one.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
It's good Trump called Zelensky a dictator. Ukraine's not invited to any negotiations at all. It's good the negotiator, Witkoff, does not know where the hell he is half the time. He would walk into a wall and be confused. It's good that Trump is inviting Putin to America, letting Putin dictate every single term. They're talking about it as if, oh guys, we scored a meeting with Putin. We scored it. We scored a meeting with Putin. Thank God. We got a meeting with Putin. We're so excited. We are America acting excited about meeting with a third-rate country. Like,
The only way you're going to be able to resolve this is through these sorts of meetings. So I will say that is a positive step in the right direction.
I'm with you.
what does she think happens through these sorts of meetings? Do you think Putin is a rational actor that you're going to talk to and have wine with and be able to come to a conclusion? Do you think that's what he's driven by? That guy is an assassin, bro. Like, what is she dumb?
A little bit on what you're saying about Witkoff, because this was a major screw up from him. He appears to have completely misrepresented or misunderstood the Russian position in terms of what they were willing to quote unquote give up, which is basically they're not actually willing, at least from the outset, to give up anything. And so he misstated that, created a lot of confusion, had to walk it back. And, I think it's worth reassessing a lot of the Witkoff hagiography that we got at the beginning of this administration, not just because of this sort of like amateur hour fuck up with a major high stakes negotiation such as this. But we also know at this point that with regard to Israel, Palestine, Gaza, Witkoff has not been part of the solution. At the end of the day, he has been just as much a part of undermining, towing Netanyahu's line and destroying those negotiations with.
Okay, so she doesn't like Witkoff because of Palestine. Okay, so Witkoff is bad for
Hamas,
her.
as Trump himself and as Netanyahu. So I think it's worth us putting to bed the idea that Steve Witkoff was going to be some wild card, great negotiator, going to bring world peace. That has not been the track record that this man has, that we have seen from this man.
Even though originally, there was some promise, but it's like you said, especially with the Gaza, with the way that has all come about, it does raise serious questions here about Russia, the way that Russia, but the problem with the schizophrenia of the Russia policy is that you can basically look into this whatever you want. And I know I'm dwelling on this, but it's very important if you follow the details. So on the one hand, we're shipping weapons and we're taking more hawkish views than Biden. On the other, we're now meeting with Putin. But listen, I agree. I'm all for meeting. Ukraine, but all of the concrete policy has drifted in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
We're shipping weapons, we're doing more sanctions, and we're basically demanding that Russia pull back, from whatever it's Donetsk or whatever province exactly that they want to fully control, along with the two capitals, which they say the Ukrainians need to withdraw from. At the same time, we are not really doing much to quell the European and Ukrainian delusions that all their territory is ever coming back. Every day that the war continues.
Do you see how that's an issue if you have a country illegally invading a smaller country and taking 20% of the territory, and then you push to have international recognition of new borders within a 3-year time span? Like, do you see how that's an issue? After this invasion of Ukraine, and they want to say, well, there's no way to move it back. If there is no way to move it back, it doesn't mean you give Russia what they want. You live in limbo at that point. You don't give that standard to the international setting in general. You don't give that standard for Taiwan and China. If China takes Taiwan, it's okay now. Because although it's a sovereign nation, who cares? Because China's bigger, they're stronger. It would be too hard. It would be simply too hard to negotiate or do anything harder or to do smarter sanctions or to whatever else. It'd be too hard to do that. It'd be too difficult. So we got to give up on everything globally. That thinking allows the globe to be slowly peeled away by authoritarianism. And you prevent world wars by standing strong right now. If you want to protect American troops, for example, you would want to support Ukraine now. Because if you look at the post-Cold War, post-World War II order with NATO and everything, that structure is one of the main reasons we have not had another world war. And that's all falling apart. And Putin, Russia, China, they have been encouraging this, which is why they tried helping Trump win. And we're successful.
They lose territory. This is an empirical fact.
Trump's
You can look at the realities of the battlefield
diplomacy.
on the ground. We could ship them everything that we don't have strapped to the ground that isn't going to start a nuclear war, and they would still lose. They would just lose slower.
Yeah.
And so that's the question of what material interest does the United States have in all of this?
Well, and not only that, so that the territory is one piece and one gigantic stumbling block. But then you also have to ask, okay, well, what were the underlying conditions that led to Russia's invasion?
Of course.
And this is, again, not to deny Russia's agency and that they shouldn't have done it and all of those sorts of things. But you also have to understand their perspective and what led to this aggressive action. And, the NATO.
Bro, if we simply give Hitler parts of Czechoslovakia, he will stop. He will stop eventually, bro. Just give him what he needs. He is a big boy. He got a big army. He took parts of the country. He said they're ethnically German. Give him parts of the country. He'll stop. You're right, Kyle.
Eastward expansion, the idea that Ukraine could be part of NATO, our efforts to pull Ukraine into a European sphere versus having Ukraine be a neutral party. Those are the underlying conditions that led to this provocative and, yes, illegal action from Russia. So is the Trump administration going to be serious about dealing with those underlying conditions?
Imagine if Crystal Ball talked about Israel and she said this led, October 7th led to this provocative and, yes, illegal action by Israel. What if she described another unjust war in that tone? Dismissive, just saying, oh, you're a smaller country, you should accept it. A big country took you over, wants to occupy you. Imagine if she used the same framing for Palestine. That dismissive attitude is insane.
Conditions. You also, we talk a lot about, and understandably so, okay, if we made a deal with Putin, can we trust Putin? They have to be asking the same question. Can they trust us?
Of course.
I mean, look at the way our country in general operates, not just under Donald Trump, but look specifically at how Donald Trump operates. There's no reason for them to trust us and our good faith in any negotiation. Just look at how we've acted with, again, Israel.
Iran also.
And Iran. Exactly. We used the pretext of diplomatic negotiations to launch an offensive, aggressive war against the Iranians. So why would any country in the world, and certainly not an adversarial one like Russia, trust that we're coming to the table in good faith? So when we were talking
Wait, yeah, it's a troll about the Hitler thing.
about how much of a problem that was, that we used the pretext of diplomatic negotiations, it wasn't just about what the fallout would be with regard to Iran.
Well, yeah, we killed the negotiators on the Iranian side. So, of course, they're not going to trust us ever again.
It was also about how will we be able to approach these other high-stakes diplomatic negotiations and have anyone take our word for anything. So that also remains, a major issue going.
It's hilarious how you can say, we need to beat China, and we need to also be angry at Canada, Mexico, Denmark, all of Europe, essentially, Australia. We got to move away from them. We have to shut down our economy from the global economy. It's oh, about Putin. No, not about Putin. It's a joke about Hitler because it did not work for Hitler. Appeasement never works. But yeah, America, if we want to beat China, for example, we see them as a threat. Why would we let Russia hack us? Trump laughed about Russia hacking us. Why would we bring Russia to come bug our bases and shit? Why would we give Russia the propaganda they want about Ukraine? Why would we give China the justification they want for Taiwan? We're doing things globally to really hurt America and our interests. from the most like bare bones, incentivized, personal, rational benefit perspective. Like, we are doing bad things for America. It's very stupid. Isolationism never works.
Into this TED-Talk
Well
with
said.
Trump
I
and
said
Putin.
that so much at the time. I was like, does anybody understand what it means to use diplomatic negotiations as a ruse? I was like, by the way, Iran is small ball compared to Russia and to Ukraine. And I don't think that it's any mistake that Putin, at every turn when Trump is like 50 days, he's like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to keep bombing Kyiv.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they're like 12 days. He's like, yeah, okay,
Sure,
I'm just going to
okay.
keep bombing. He's like,
Someone said Russia, Russia, Russia. It's not 2017 anymore, so nobody cares. No one talks about Russia and Trump from 2017 except Trump and Trump supporters. We don't talk about that anymore. We talk about the current Russian-Ukraine invasion of Ukraine. Like, we talk about what Trump's doing to make this crisis worse. That was already litigated. You people bring up Russia, Russia, Russia all the time because they train you like dogs to bring up their dumbass talking points. That's why they say Russia 3 times, by the way. They're training you. You are trained. You're a trained puppet. They say Russia, Russia, Russia because they need to be catchy so you know how to activate your brain to say the propaganda.
what are you going to do about it? I'm a nuclear armed state with 9,500 nuclear warheads. Go for it. You can put all the, deals or whatever you want on the table. Here's the vice president talking about the issue recently in an interview. Let's take a listen.
Fundamentally, this is something where the president needs to force President Putin and President Zelensky really to sit down to figure out their differences. We have a lot of economic points.
Why do they talk about it like they're going for tea after they had a scuffle on the softball team? To figure out their differences. Ukraine has come to the table every couple of years for the past 15 years with ceasefires, with treaties, with a bunch of different arrangements to try and stop Russia from attacking them. Ukraine was being attacked by Russia during Trump's presidency. They just did not launch a full invasion, but they were still fighting at the borders. It's just insane to talk about it in that framework. But JD Vance knows the viewers are going to be pushovers and not know anything about anything. So.
Leverage. We're willing to use those to bring about peace. And that was a big thing that happened. To your point about weapons, what we said to the Europeans is simply, first of all, this is in your neck of the woods. This is in your back door. You guys have got to step up and take a bigger role in this thing. We're done with the funding of the Ukraine war business. We want to bring about a peaceful settlement to this thing. We want to stop the killing. But Americans, I think, are sick of continuing to send their money, their tax dollars to this particular conflict. But if the Europeans want to step up and actually buy the weapons from American producers, we're okay with that, but we're not going to fund it ourselves anymore.
Yeah, with great respect, that's the Biden policy, right? I mean, the Biden policy was just U.S. and Europeans. Remember the talking point of like, oh, it's going to be great for the U.S. economy. I'm like, oh, really? The defense dollars, of course, are widely distributed across our economy. So we're dealing with that. We've also got Zelensky sounding off here. And look, I understand, it's an emotional thing for the Ukrainians and for a lot of
It's an emotional thing for the Ukrainians. Like, okay, remember, if you say, I understand it's an emotional thing for the Palestinians, I get it.
Ukraine supporters here in America, but you need to deal with reality.
And the Ukraine supporters in America, but you got to deal with reality. I mean, they're a smaller, occupied, small country. The bigger military force is just going to run them over. Just deal with reality, bro.
A small country, you're up against a nuclear-armed power. It's a non-NATO nation. There's no obligation for the United States to defend you. And you're drawing lines.
No, they'll say there's an obligation, though, obviously, because the U.S. is funding much of what Israel does, obviously. So that's the big difference there. But
in the sand, which were ridiculous on the day that the war started and Crimea was already overtaken, and frankly, like delusional in the year 2025. But here's what Zelensky had to say in response. He says, quote, Ukraine is ready for final decisions that can bring peace. Any decisions that are against us, any decisions that are without Ukraine are at the same time decisions against peace. They will not achieve anything. These are stillborn decisions. They are unworkable decisions, and we all need real and genuine peace. Peace that the people will respect. Basically saying that anything that Ukraine does not sign off on is one that is completely...
Ukraine's not even in the damn room. They're not even in the damn room, bro. They're not even in the room. How can they sign off on something when they're not in the room? They can't even hear the fine details of what's happening at all. They can't know the perspectives in the room. They can't hear the actual negotiation. They can't hear if anyone's good faith or not. They can't hear anything about this. They have no input. Why would you negotiate another deal without the people who are involved directly? Like, why would they ever accept that?
Debunk and will, of course.
But again, when Trump says that Zelensky's a dictator, and when he says that Putin is a strong guy who lost a lot of great men fighting Ukraine, and he blames Ukraine for it, it's all to set up the propaganda to eventually give land to Russia. And when Trump gives pushback to Putin, it's to have some type of deniability where Trump can say, well, I tried fighting Putin, I was tough on Putin, and we just had to do this for peace through strength. And we know that's a complete fake lie. Like when an NBA player bets on themselves to lose a basketball game, but they can't be too bad at the game because they'll know, the spectators will know that NBA player is selling the game to try and win his bet, but he needs to play decent enough to not get caught, but bad enough to lose, so he purposely wins the bet that he put against himself. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. You guys know what concept I bring up all the time. But still, it's crazy to hear that propaganda over and over again.
Not stand up. Now, here's the issue, with that, is that the Ukrainian position is one that is, again, I mean, it is completely delusional. Let me read here specifically from the Ukrainian and European counter ceasefire proposal. What they say is that in a joint statement from the Europeans, as well from Germany, the UK, and France, is all that any diplomatic end must protect Ukraine and Europe's security interests, but that specifically their ceasefire proposal, quote, crucially, the European plan, which presented to all of the Americans, stipulates that any territorial concession by Kyiv must then be safeguarded by ironclad security guarantees, including, quote, potential NATO membership for Ukraine. And it just doesn't make any sense to give NATO membership for Ukraine in a war that started at least in part because of a NATO invitation for Ukraine to join NATO. I already know, the neocons and all these other people will get very upset about this, but look at the history of it. Ukraine has always been a linchpin of Russia's security strategy. I'm not saying it's legitimate, it just has been. It has been recognized from the beginning of the expansion of NATO by George Kennan, by Bill Burns, who was a previous CIA director under Joe Biden. They all said in writing, they're like, look, even expanding into the Baltics is a problem, but Ukraine must always remain off the table. And then, if we look at the exact moment that U.S.-Russia relations completely flipped on a dime, was when the Munich Security Conference of 2007. That is very around the time that we invite Georgia and Ukraine to enter NATO. And what does Putin do in 2008? Does everybody remember? It was like, what was it, Putin at the Beijing Olympics, I think in 08, while the Russians march into Georgia. And now similarly here.
Why would Putin not care about NATO bordering Russia with 6 different countries, but he only cares about Ukraine and Georgia? It's a simple answer, because Putin views, and they say this in Russian propaganda, he views them as part of the new Soviet Union, like reclaiming the former what should be Russia. They consider Ukraine to not be a country. Ukraine is a little sibling that broke off and is defying the motherland. Okay, so they want to get back Ukraine and get back Georgia. They want to control those as client states with, just like Belarus, with these dictators they install as much as they possibly can, or maybe they can take more areas of these countries if their puppet states don't work. Like Ukraine and Georgia are Russia's pieces they want to collect. No matter what happened, Russia was going to invade these 2 countries. They have done this forever. But the Western support for Ukraine kind of urged Russia to start a full frontal conflict, an actual direct invasion, because Russia lost the propaganda battle. When Russia lost the propaganda battle and there was a revolution with a more pro-Western government installed in Ukraine, then Russia invaded. Okay, that's the actual game theory. That's the actual reason here for foreign policy. That's the actual incentive structure. Putin realized, oh shit, we have no propaganda apparatus to recover the situation, so we need to strong arm it and get a Trump guy in office again was probably part of it, or at least a bonus to what Putin's trying to do. What Sagar just said there is so brain dead, and so it lacks so much density and care about the situation. And he does news. He makes hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. He knows this. He should know this. What he just said is a very dumb, low-level take.
With Ukraine, where the Kamala and the Biden administration were making a lot of steps towards actually formalizing Ukraine into NATO, and then lo and behold, we got to find ourselves in a war. Not just justify the war, it's just reality. Yeah. And it's one where, I understand the Ukrainians are like, well, how can we ever, want peace? I'm like, listen, your victory is you get to live. You get to live to fight another. You get to keep 80% of your country. That's a decent deal considering all the amount of money and, the amount of lives.
The moment, again, if Putin gets what he wants with new solidified territory backed by the United States of America, then they will keep on doing this over and over and over again until Ukraine becomes, 80% Ukraine, 70% Ukraine, 50% Ukraine. They will keep on peeling away. That's what they do. He's never going to stop. And Ukraine knows this because Putin has violated every other treaty and ceasefire. Every other one. The day of. While signing ceasefires, they have violated it in Russia. Sagar just said, at the Olympics, they'll be invading a country randomly when other shit's going on. It's so, oh man, I hate seeing this Russian reinforced propaganda.
That everybody has expended. Yes, it's easy for me to say here from Washington, but we're the global superpower. We're the ones at the end of the day who get to decide how the conflict ends. And, if you want otherwise, well, get some nuclear weapons. I don't really know what else to say to you. Yeah. Zelensky, he's a serious problem.
Yeah, no, he is a problem at this point. I mean, I think he...
Crystal. Zelensky is a serious problem at this point. She better bring up some really angry sauce for Putin and Trump.
has this Hollywood conception of like, you know, he's the
He has a Hollywood conception of he's
main
the
character,
man,
and there's
main
a glorious
character.
happy ending in which all the
A glorious happy
you know,
ending
evil is vanquished and
in
good.
which all the evil is vanquished. He's making very reasonable, like, appeals to international law and sovereignty as a nation. And she's comparing it to a Hollywood actor. She views him as some type of emotional, like, dipshit who's just really mad and having a power trip.
Prevails, and he doesn't have to budge a single inch off his position. And, you know,
He has made compromise positions about things like NATO and also his own position in government. He said he would leave the office instantly if Russia would stop invading. He has said these things over and over again. But again, the U.S. has never invited Ukraine to the table with Russia.
Biden certainly fed into that delusion. Now Trump has as well. You know, after the whole like bullying in the Oval Office, then Zelensky ends up getting all of the things that he ultimately wanted. And I think it speaks to
And Ukraine had their intel cut off from the U.S. The U.S. pressured Europe to not give Ukraine intel. The U.S. pressured Europe to not give Ukraine weapons. The approved Ukraine funding was paused for periods of months at a time as civilians were being struck at a rate of 400% higher than they were before Trump. Throughout this entire process, civilian centers double tap bombed during Palm Sunday, and that means a Christian holiday, right? Palm Sunday. They drop one bomb in a civilian center. They bomb some kids, some grandmas, and then they wait a few minutes for all the first responders to come in to try and help people, and then they bomb yet again to kill the aid workers. Russia was doing that on Palm Sunday, and you heard nothing about these Christians in America talking about Russia bombing Ukraine during that period. Nothing from Trump, nothing from this White House faith office, nothing at all about that, except, oh, Zelensky's the actual dictator is what they said.
Trump's persona and the way he approaches these things. Like, I think he believed, you know, he thinks everything's like a freaking real estate negotiation. And then you can just get in a room and you can, you know, get some rapport with the various players and figure out some kind of a deal that's going to work. And so he used his typical tactics of like public bluster and, you know, the theatrical display in the Oval Office. And when that didn't work, now it's just kind of a mess. Like, it's hard to even say what the administration's position is. Remember the whole minerals deal? Like, whatever came of that. What
Is she just like, she does not know anything about what's happening. They signed a deal. They ended up signing a deal for like a mineral rights deal in Ukraine. That was signed. Another deal was signed. Does she not know anything about this and she's talking about it with such authority? That's why she's using analogies like, oh, he's actually a Hollywood film star who like thinks there's going to be like this amazing ending where all the evil goes away. Like, does she not know shit about this at all? Why is she commenting on it if she knows nothing about it? And I don't even research this stuff that much.
does that even mean in all of this going forward? Is that even a real thing? Who knows? So, yeah, I think it's a real wild card what could come out of this, but I'm not particularly hopeful, you know, just to set expectations, and I would love to be proven wrong. We'll see. But the other piece is that it is very difficult to end wars. It shouldn't be that way, but it.
Wow, it's really hard to end wars. Really insightful commentary. By the way, one Google search. What to know about the signed U.S.-Ukraine minerals deal? Wow, Crystal, really good insight.
Is. We saw what happened with Biden, the pullout of Afghanistan. It's a very difficult political thing to do. And you really have to lay a lot of groundwork, narrative groundwork, for the public to understand why the stated position of the American government, of both administrations, of basically like Ukraine's going to get everything and we're not going to give an inch, why you're going to end up with a result that is significantly different than that, why there are going to be so many concessions after all of the support that we've given Ukraine over the years. And there also hasn't really been any narrative built to prepare people for that eventuality. I think Trump is intelligent enough to know that there, you know, are many likely deals that could be done with Russia that would be pretty unpalatable to the American public.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
What likely deals can be done with Russia? Giving them everything they want, and then what's the next step?
This is a propagandistic thing, too, where you have to look at mass media. And this explains the Israel situation as well. If you watch Fox News, you know, Churchill and Zelensky are of the same ilk, as like there's no difference between them. The Ukrainians are freedom fighters. The Russians are committing genocide. I mean, I'm not joking. This is literally what they say over there. And the most politically palatable thing to do is to do exactly what we did with Afghanistan, which is just chunk as much money into the war for as long as humanly possible, slowly erode, and the mission continues to fail, but everybody just kind of moves on with their life. Because
America going to destabilize a portion of the world, which is already very unstable, trying to prop up a paper-mache government in Afghanistan, and then negotiating out of it with the Taliban and not working with the ANA at all, like the Afghanistan government. Like, America doing that, the Middle East in general, is not comparable whatsoever to providing basic funding to Ukraine and basic intel services and providing a deal where Europe pays us. We don't spend money. Europe pays us for arms to help Ukraine and defense to help Ukraine. Those things are not comparable whatsoever.
I want to deal with reality. And, you know, that, by the way, includes many of the Ukrainians. Let's go ahead and put A7, please, up on the screen, because this is very important. And this is from very recently. Ukraine's support for its own war effort is collapsing. And this is very similar to the Afghan situation, where the people who actually have to do the fighting are like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this. Like, look, we'll take your money. You know, that pays for a lot of nice condos in Dubai. But for the rest of it, not so sure. So check this out. Ukraine's appetite.
Well, when the U.S. president is spreading Russian propaganda and cutting off intel services and calling Zelensky a dictator and saying Putin is a very strong guy and signaling ultimate support for Russia, of course you're going to lose courage. And Jesus, dude, in a war like that, being invaded like that, it's hard to even imagine how terrible that is. Having a draft of young men needing to do that for the survival of your country. You would think Americans would relate to that. But again, Americans today are privileged. We don't have any connection to the way our country started, our fight for independence. Ukraine separating from Russia and the entire Soviet Union breaking up, like there is an analogy there where Ukraine and all these other countries in Eastern Europe had to fight away from the efforts and the propaganda and influence of the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union, which turned into Russia. The whole period in the 90s of them breaking off was extremely difficult. And this is like a liberation, revolutionary war type of thing for them, where they broke off from the country that wants to now come back and reclaim the former land they view as theirs, just like the colonies fighting against the empire. Like, there is an analogy there, but many Americans, it's hard to see if they really connect those pieces.
Appetite for the war and support of a negotiated peace. Back in 2022, some 22% said that Ukraine should seek to negotiate an ending to the war as soon as possible. Just 22%. Today, that is 69% of Ukrainians. This is the Gallup poll. And only 24% said, quote, Ukraine should continue fighting until it wins the war, whereas in 2022, it was some 73%. And
wait, where's the poll that says should Ukraine like give up more territory and give it to Russia and redefine its borders and put itself in a vulnerable position for future attacks? The polling there does not capture the situation.
That's because the reality of combat and also of what the war is setting in. 60-year-olds are now being allowed to join the Ukrainian war effort. 60-year-olds are now being, with no age limit whatsoever on the number of people in. Millions of the country have fled. The richest and most powerful Ukrainians are not fighting in this war. They're long gone. They're living, I saw them in the hotels in Budapest and in Vienna. They're living the high life. Don't worry. And a lot of them still are actually printing money off of the corruption from the U.S. money that continues to flow into the country.
Awesome. Just after showing a complete misunderstanding of the entire conflict, now he's going to sprinkle in some information about, oh, they're actually making money off this. The corrupt narrative about Ukraine wanting the war to continue to make money off it. Love that narrative as well. I love it. I love.
By the way, if you want to find out about that corruption, good luck to you. Let's go ahead and put A9, please.
By the way, if you want to find out about that corruption, good luck to you. So I just said a statement that I have no proof for, and I said if you want to find proof, good luck. It's so secret. I know about it, but you can't find proof. I feel like as a journalist, you probably shouldn't say that if you don't have actual sources. Just like, I would probably say you should make sure your information is correct before you just say shit. Probably.
On the screen, you know, again, the Western media basically ignored it. You know, there are a few stories here every once in a while, but Ukraine's, quote, new anti...
It's like, bro, I just saw that guy kill someone last night. I mean, good luck finding proof. Good luck finding proof, bro. I got a girlfriend. She's in Canada. He goes to a different school. I mean, good luck finding proof, bro. Good luck finding proof. Good luck. It's true.
Anti-corruption law led to the biggest protests in Ukraine since the beginning of the war. Why? Because the parliament and Zelensky both approved legislation, quote, restoring the independence of the country's two main anti-corruption bodies. But in reality, what it did is that inside, Zelensky and others basically allowed they basically allowed the new laws to go into place where you had the anti-corruption watchdogs come under attack. They've reversed some of them, but the point is that it was seen as a widely authoritarian law to cover up much of the corruption for allegedly this democratic haven, you know, in Europe, which, you know, not only
I love the terms of allegedly democratic haven in Europe. Like, no, in Eastern Europe, Ukraine, the improvements to their democracy have been The improvements in their democratic state in the past 15 years has been immense. Has been huge improvements. The entire world recognized Ukraine as a very corrupt state, which is why we probably slow-rolled aid to Ukraine to begin with. When you say things like this supposed bastion of democracy, they suck, they're authoritarian, you're just trying to muddy the waters and make them look terrible. Like, why would you ever say that? No, everyone knows there's corruption issues in Ukraine. No one ever said it's not a corrupt state. Like, they say things like, why did America not help Ukraine in 2014 when they annexed Crimea? Like, maybe because there are real corruption issues in Ukraine. There are. Even Biden helping Ukraine, they had to prove they can manage the resources we were giving Ukraine. We know this is a real thing, but these kids need to use everything as a little high school attack on everyone. It's just so annoying.
Was the most corrupt country in all of Europe before the outbreak of the war. But Zelensky himself, of course, has canceled elections. He has huge opposition.
It's in the Constitution. They can't have elections. The Parliament canceled the elections. The Constitution there canceled the elections. The Parliament. The opposition party agrees. That's what the Constitution says there. You cannot have elections during wartime. Zelensky himself did not cancel elections. It was voted on. They supported it. They reaffirmed that part of the Constitution in Ukraine. They cannot have elections when 20% of their country is under occupation. We know this. And they made that law because of Russia's influence. They knew Russia was going to invade eventually, and they knew Russia was going to try to force elections. Why would Sagar say such dumb shit about this corruption he can't prove, about this NATO expansion he can't prove that's completely fake, when there's 6 other countries bordering Russia with apparently no issue, but they need Ukraine and Georgia to not be with the West and with NATO? He can talk about all this shit out his ass. It's actually disgusting, bro.
Before the outbreak of the war, but Zelensky himself, of course, has canceled elections. He has huge opposition, actually, inside of the country. And worst of all, actually, is that if you did want some sort of end to the...
He probably does have opposition. His approval numbers are good. But again, when it comes to the Constitution and having elections right now, they can't do it. There is no way to facilitate... Imagine doing elections in America when all of California and Texas are captured by another country. It just would not make sense.
Is that back in 2022... Ukraine passed a piece of legislation through its parliament basically saying that any, quote, negotiation or surrender or whatever has to be approved by referendum. But of course, the circumstances of the referendum are up to the government and, of course, in the wording in the way that it would all go out. So the government and all of them have plenty of tools available to them to nix any sort of deal. And then what can they say? They're like, oh, we tried, our people won't go for it. And then what's America going to do? Trump, at the end of the day, like you said, he's not going to cut him off. He just thinks it'll be politically unpalatable. It probably will be, to be honest. And so that leads to what? Just continuation of the war. And, as if you're actually horrified by the violence and the killing, well, then you actually want to bring it to an end, and that will require something actually quite unpalatable. We could get there if media had reported it properly, and also if the government had a consistent narrative from day one on Ukraine, but they haven't. They're all over the place.
They are all over the place. So
yes, they are all over the place.
We'll watch it closely, see, if there are any positive indications out of this, but, there's not a lot of groundwork that has been laid to create the likelihood of a positive outcome, is how I would put it.
I love hearing people talk about shit they don't know anything about.
If there are any positive indications out of this, but,
Okay, so...
all over the place. So we'll watch it closely, see...
We'll watch it closely, and they don't know anything... Okay, they're going to watch it closely, but they don't know there was a minerals deal.
If there are any positive indications...
If there's any positive indications...
out of this, but, there's not a lot of...
But, there's not a lot of...
not a lot of groundwork that has been laid to create the likelihood of a positive outcome.
Afghanistan was the same way. I mean, it's like it snuck up on everybody because nobody was paying attention, and everybody just assumed, they'll kick the can down the road, and they're not actually going to do it. Biden finally was like, no, I'm not going to do it. We're out. And, we all saw how that worked. So it's not good. It's not good the way that this all works. And of course, that if Ukraine has to give up even one scrap of Eastern Ukraine, Fox News, CNN, and all these other people are going to be united in how this is the greatest travesty since Munich. And then what will that lead to? More boomer support. And of course,
it would be a tragedy. It would be a tragedy. Even if you think they should accept that, it would still be a tragedy. Again, if a country invaded America and we were forced to give up all of... I'm not going to say California, because conservatives will be happy about that. If we had to give up all of Texas, which is probably around, 20% of our country, land-wise? Maybe? What percent of America's land is Texas? Probably not. Maybe 10%? Wait. What percent of America land is Texas? I'm going to guess 10%. 8%. 10? Okay, I was right. 8% was better. I guessed 8% with my final guess is 7.1. 7.1% of America's land. Second largest state. Nice. All right, please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate it. Guys, I'm actually going to let you know something real quick. The donor class. It's the donor I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was not gonna stream tomorrow. And you can be mad. You can be mad all you want. I was not gonna stream tomorrow. Okay, I was not going to stream tomorrow. But I don't think I could survive 10 hours tonight. So I was gonna say I could do 5 hours both nights. If you guys are okay with that. You can beat me. You can beat me if you want. In a very aggressive and suggestive way. If you really need to. But I'm getting no callers either. The fact I'm getting no callers and lower viewership is kind of cramping the style. I mean, we have 300 viewers. I'm happy with that, obviously. But I feel like Friday night would be better for viewers. Maybe 13 hours. Yeah, I know the donos. That's why I'm asking approval from the council. I don't know if I could physically go to 10 hours. Is the line open? Yeah, it is open. I could see, by the way, if the line is closed, I still get the calls. I still get the calls if it's closed. Colton, shut up. I owe you 6 more. Well, I'll do 6 more tomorrow. Okay, fine. I'll do 6 hours tomorrow. I'll split it up 5 tonight, 6 tomorrow. Do 10 today and then 10 tomorrow.
Call from.
Hello?
Yo, is this the politics line?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
I think so too.
For real.
Yeah, what's good, man? What are we talking about?
Trump is sending all these troops to DC, and he's sending all these troops to Los Angeles.
Yeah. 2 shitholes, right?
Yeah. 2 shitholes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got to send boots on the ground to clean up the shitholes. One's the shining city on the hill, our capital. The other one used to be where everyone ran to for the westward expansion. Now it's just feces in the street and, camps, homeless camps. Used to be a tourist destination.
It is a tourist destination, one of our best actually. If there's
yeah. If you want to see a failed policies and feces in the street and homeless people.
Have you ever visited Los Angeles?
Oh yes.
Have you ever visited Washington D.C.?
Oh yes, several times. I've been to all 50 states.
Have you ever visited
Canada and Mexico?
Have you ever visited Pittsburgh?
Yes.
What about Philadelphia?
Yeah, I just said I've been to all 50 states.
Have you ever visited San Francisco?
Yeah.
Have you ever visited Miami?
Have you ever visited Deep Appalachia?
Yeah, I live in Appalachia. Have you ever visited Miami?
No, you don't. Where you live at?
I live right next to the Appalachian Mountains.
Or right next to it.
It's
That's
not all
different than Deep
Appalachia.
Appalachia.
Well, it depends.
Yeah,
There's some
Maine to
Appalachia.
Georgia.
It could be in New York City, or not. New York State. There's some in New York State for sure. There's coal mining towns in New York State, 100%. And in northern New York, western New York. And then you have some parts of Pennsylvania. You have some parts of all of West Virginia is like super Appalachia. Some parts of like Kentucky, Ohio. Yeah, there's a lot of areas through the range.
Yep, that several states. You're correct about that.
So you've been to every city in America.
Yeah, actually I have. And well, I wouldn't say every city, every major city in every state in America. Every like tourist attraction, you could say that. All 50 states.
Awesome. Well, I was in DC a few weeks ago. I had a great time. It was beautiful. Even in the bad parts, it was pretty nice out. I enjoyed my walk. It wasn't bad at all. I liked it.
Oh, that's good. But you don't live there though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm there a lot though. I'm there a lot.
Yeah, but where are you at? The capital?
Everywhere. I've been all over the place. I've been all through DC and the suburbs and middle of the city and Silver Springs and all those areas. So like. Yeah, I've been there. I saw one person poop on the street once. I saw one person poop on the street, but out of millions of people, I really don't care about one person pooping on the street. It's not fun to see. I mean, he had a lot of range on it. A couple feet off there. Maybe hit someone's car. You know, it's a new paint job.
He downloaded a brown load.
No, yeah, I mean, it's a paint job on a new car. I mean, it's free too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But that didn't ruin my whole experience. I could see that.
Certain patina.
But I'm not going to judge the whole city off one person, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Not one person shit in the street, but like overall,
we could join them.
Though, I mean, you go like you just if you look at statistics, it's the probably highest crime area, and they have the highest or the most strictest gun laws with the highest gun crime. I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive, and it doesn't really make sense with policies and what it used to be. It used to be like my grandparents' generation. They took their senior trip in high school to D.C. and they could walk on the White House lawn, and they could go up and see the White House. They could be throwing frisbee there. Those days are over. Same thing with San Francisco. Like you go.
Well, there's
down,
a big question about this though. Yeah, San Francisco, right? San Francisco.
Yep.
You know that Nancy Pelosi's congressional district has a crime rate that's 6 times lower than Mike Johnson's home district crime rate, a red city.
Yeah, but that's anecdotal. I mean,
no, that's the crime data. That's the no. I'm talking the cities themselves.
One district to another district.
No, so like the Republican district, Mike Johnson has a 6 times higher crime rate than San Francisco.
Kentucky's crime rate's lower than South America.
No, but the reason I say that in America is they say the blue states are the dangerous ones that need to. We got to send military into American streets for the blue states like San Francisco. But then for the red states and Mike Johnson's district, we don't need to send the military there. But they have a much higher crime rate, which is really weird.
No, I don't know about those policies, and I kind of disagree with military like boots on the ground. But like at a certain point, I think America just has to have like law and order, basically, I guess.
We do. Our crime rate has been going down the past 30 years.
Where?
All across the country. I don't know what kind of.
That's what I'm saying. You're still doing anecdotal stuff. I mean, you're painting like a broad.
Actually, I'm using when you say anecdotal, I'm saying stats. I can be anecdotal. You probably like anecdotal
better.
Like
this congressman's district is lower than this congresswoman's district.
No, I'm just saying red states. The top out of the top 10 crime rate states, 8 of them are conservative. All I'm saying is conservative red areas are more violent in America. Now we can have different like interpretations off that.
Okay, yeah, but see that's still a little misleading though. So name one of those states.
I guarantee you, Louisiana for sure. Louisiana for sure. Texas is pretty high.
You can do that. You can do that too. I'm saying, but the most of that
Alabama
state
probably.
is pretty chill. Yeah, most of that state's pretty chill. But
most of every state's pretty chill.
Yeah, but you look where the concentration of the crime is, you'll find that it's not out with just people farming and shit. It's in a municipality that is pretty liberal and pretty Democrat overall. Guaranteed.
It's just because cities vote Democrat, but cities have higher crime rates, even for red run cities. Red run cities have higher crime rates. That's why I mentioned the Mike Johnson district, because his home city has a super high crime rate compared to blue cities. Yeah, but if you want to go
tick for tat for congressional districts, that makes no sense.
That's not how it should be.
Like,
but okay, we're talking about the military though. The military in American streets. If you want to reduce crime, even by their logic, then fund more police departments. There's no reason to bring in the National Guard and the FBI.
DC couldn't do it in the last 50 years.
They have been. The crime rate is at a 30-year low in DC.
Oh, yeah, but a 30-year low is still shitload higher than.
No, it's getting a lot better. It's getting a lot better. Yeah, it's getting a lot better through actual solutions.
It may be getting better, but it's.
But
still
they can fund the police there. They can fund the police there. They don't got to send in the DEA, the FBI to do roaming stops.
Defund the police before though.
No, they didn't. No.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me? You're saying that DC politicians did not want to defund police?
No, not at all. No, that would be terrible there. They would never. They would not get elected.
It will be terrible.
No, but I'm saying like all the things you hear about defunding the police, they would not get elected again. Like they would not get elected. No, they would. An activist said that. All right, activists said that. Democrats pushed to fund the police more. Like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris funded the police more.
Candidate said that also though, not just activists, not just.
Which candidate? Which candidate said defund the police? Do you think Kamala said that? Do you think Kamala said that?
I don't know what she said. I really didn't pay attention. She's kind of not a very good speaker and not a very
Well,
good.
that's true. I don't like Kamala, but she never said that. She never said that. Even the very far left politicians like AOC, like she backed off from the activists really quickly to talk about like it's not about defunding police, it's about funding other programs instead, funding both.
Yeah, they did like situational awareness and counselors for people with mental health. I understand that, but at the end of the day, like actual crime, stabbings and robberies and burglaries and ag assaults, like you need police. And if anything, when you have statistics,
You don't need to
like,
send in the military
in these areas. I agree. I agree with you on this actually.
You know that Gavin Newsom had a press conference today?
I think this is actually a It comes from failed shit though for so long though. Like at some point somebody's like, "What the hell else are we going to do?" I don't agree with the military. I'm with you on that one. But like, and this is just
it's
me.
Been
like
getting better.
Like,
Baltimore's at a record low
do?
crime rate. Baltimore's at a record low homicide rate because they're reinvesting in the community.
Yeah, record low
the
for
current
them,
mayor is
though.
doing great.
Record low for them.
Yeah, they're getting. Yeah, it's improving.
Them.
Yeah, the policies are working that they're doing right now, and the White House wants to come and just send in the military and DEA.
Crazy. It's still astronomically crazy, though.
We need to make sure we don't have an
better.
authoritarian government where the president can send in the military wherever he wants. And that's the big thing right now is people say we got to get rid of this crime.
This is an honest question. Have they declared martial law?
I mean, it depends what you mean by martial law. They want to do that. They've been getting close to it.
Law.
Well, no,
no
they don't just call martial law. There's other policies to get them there. So when Trump says, for example, we're going to send in...
There's one martial law, and I mean, it's something that has to be declared martial law or not. Did they do it or no, or do you know? I don't know, actually.
There's different home rule things
I don't want
DC.
I don't want military in the streets.
Trump has called for national emergency powers. One thing that's happening in D.C. right now is there's roaming patrols in rich parts of town that have no crime with FBI, DEA, and ICE agents walking around together, National Guard walking around together, looking for people to intimidate for no reason at all. And also Gavin Newsom spoke today, and outside that conference, outside of his press conference, Trump sent like 50 DHS unmarked, unidentified federal officers with full masking on to intimidate them, to just stand outside and walk around and scare people, essentially. This is like authoritarianism. Outside of Gavin Newsom's press conference today, if you look it up, like it's crazy shit. They're sending these federal agents out with no what do you think about that? They have full masking on, no badge number, even no body cams at all.
Well, I would that would be a bifurcated analysis for me, because I would be thinking if they're sending people masked, government entities to kind of fuck with him or intimidate him while he's having a press conference, I'll say absolutely bullshit. That should not be happening. But
I don't think it should happen anywhere in America.
Oh yeah, it definitely has.
I don't want a federal agent knocking on my door with a full mask on and no badge number. But Trump is encouraging that policy right now.
Me neither.
But that's really that's a really big fear. And they have facial recognition technology on their phones now strapped to their chest. It'll tell them who you are within 15 seconds. They can do it with us, any American citizen, because they're passing all these surveillance laws to go after illegal immigrants, but they're taking rights away from Americans.
Okay, well, entertain me for 1 second. So, like, say, we'll take the shittiest crime-ridden area ever, and you're going to say, they're a 30-year low. That may be true, but their 30-year low is still astronomically higher than most places I would want to take my wife and kids. So, like, you're in one of those areas, and what would you do to ratify, like, to fix the situation to where it would be a safer area, to where there wouldn't be gates around the White House, to where you could throw a frisbee in the White House lawn, to where you could, feel safe to walk down the streets with your small children at night in certain cities and stuff? What would be your fix for that?
It depends what part of town. In the rich areas that have a lot of resources, there's low crime, right? So if we have areas that have
pick any part in town. I mean,
any part in town, we need to flood money into schools and flood money into childcare and flood money into mental health services.
That hasn't
Those
worked,
things,
though. Like,
we pay
more
did
per
that.
pupil than anywhere in the United. We pay more per. We pay more per pupil than anywhere in the world, and our scores are the shittiest in the world.
It's because we have such great inequality in America. Other countries have a baseline, like a level of education. Here in America, if you're from a poor zip code, you're going to have a really inexpensive education, a really shitty education. If you're from a rich
I'm
area
from the
code,
poorest, I'm from the poorest, most underserved zip code probably in
yeah,
my
but what
area.
I'm saying, in Europe, they don't have that issue, though. Everyone's funded a pretty equitable amount. But in America, you have to give like a lot of tax dollars in the federal government and the Department of Education to poor schools because they don't get the local tax
education,
revenue.
though? Like there's kids in like tribal village Africa that can pass tests that inner city American cannot. There's a test that was given out all across for public education. I think it was in 1883. Most eighth graders today could not pass, and this was way back in the day. And anybody from probably 5th to 9th grade could pass this exam. So like, what's failed over
We aren't
time
fixing
where,
issues in their lives.
And you throw millions and billions and billions at
We
these
need to
schools,
we
and
do got to spend more
nothing's
money.
improving.
We got to spend more money and spend it in a smarter way as well. So like if a kid has a family that has no opportunities in a shitty part of town and they can't get jobs, then those kids don't get to go get SAT tutoring. They don't have rides to school. They have to fend for themselves. They might have to work a job through college. And when they get to school, they have class sizes that are like 40 people per teacher. And these poor teachers in these inner cities have such a big job on their plate, but they have lower resources to do it. And then you go to the suburbs, and they have a lot of money everywhere. Everyone has fresh Nikes. They go to their travel baseball leagues, and they go to their SAT tutor. They have a perfect suburban family, and then they go to school. They have a 10-person class size. They get their special little treatment, and we wonder why that white person from the suburb, and even a wealthier black person from the suburb, will have the same results. No, but I won't throw that into it.
Where I'm from, it's not a race.
Yeah, I know. I'm from the poor whites too. I went to college and DEI.
We've had so much money thrown at the education system, especially where I live, and there's no results. I mean,
no, but think about this. I'm from like one of the poorest areas to live in America too. Like Appalachia, 99% white. I went to DEI college. I went to college in DEI. I was there for poor white people DEI. When we look at the overall money in an area, though, if you think about it,
I qualify for any fucking program coming and going, and I'm a white dude, because it's such a poor area and such an
this is a pretty complicated. This is a pretty complicated one. I'm trying to think about how to explain this. But like here's the thing, though. If you have a well-funded public school for these richer families, and they also have their own resources, you would need to flood so many resources to the poor area, because those families that are going to those schools, they don't have resources at home. So although you might have some resources in public schools, but the resources at home are going to be so low, it's still going to be way too little. So we do got to spend more money on it. We have to spend smarter money on it, and it's gonna be more expensive to manage things in an inner city.
I kind of almost halfway agree with you, but I'm just saying, like, we've seen, it's like when you're cooking pasta, when it's done, you throw it at the wall. Shit, that's kind of how it is. Like, we've thrown money before, though, with no result. So, like, how would that all of a sudden, perpetuate this the result that you're talking about? More money.
Well, there has been results.
I think it has to be. It has to be a ground up structural change. It can't just be money, though, because there's so many things wrong, and like school choice is a issue where I live. Like the kids.
School
that are
choice
very
is
poor
terrible for kids.
I know exactly.
No, I'm saying like having school choice is bad. Like having private schools is bad.
Yeah, well, see, the way it is in my politics here, they paint it as the poor kid where I live can go to a better school, but that's really not what happens, and the money gets back-channeled in the state government, and it gets funneled into the 10-person classroom from the rich kids, like you're saying, and it gets drawn away from the public.
Yeah, they get free
system.
money then. The rich get even more money.
Yeah, so it's fucked up like way back in the legislator's office before it ever reaches poor.
That's something we got to change right there. That exact issue you just said is one thing breaking public education.
But throwing money is not helping right now, because there has to be. It's
the
more
money's
than
not
that.
going to the right places. It probably
exactly.
is. We need
that's
more money, but we still need more money too.
At it. It's not going to fix
okay,
it.
So would you agree we still need more money, but you also want to spend money differently too?
I would say more money would be the second thing to a complete freaking overhaul, structural change, and how that money is spent and where it's spent and who spends it.
Like right now, I have a local issue with like the school board, and they don't want to raise taxes at all because they want to get reelected. We can definitely afford it in this area, 100%. Like it'd be easy for everyone to afford. It'd be like $10 more a month. It's actually pretty cheap. And we'd be able to have these after-school programs, all these extra teachers and stuff. But one issue is they're being selfish, and the politicians locally don't want to use the money for that. They want to do just like tax cuts and pull from like our general fund that we have saved up as a community. And now all these families that have more money, they can take their kids to fancy camps or to get a nanny or to go play sports after school. But all these kids who relied on the after-school programs, now those kids, if they don't have after-school programs, what are they going to do after school when their parents aren't home working or whatever it might be when they need meals?
Exactly.
That person gets into crime, right? And they do bad things. And that's one area where if we don't fund the schools, that'll happen.
Well, I see the same thing here. Like, I mean, there's the most talented, academically talented, and sport athletically talented kids. They go home to the shittiest fucking home life you would ever imagine.
Yeah, that can happen.
If they had more, they would do great things, and I see that all the time here where I'm from. And like, so like you can throw money, but I don't know. I guess,
but they want to take away money too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, these kids are definitely not doing travel ball. Nobody I know has a fucking nanny. My 36 years on this earth in my area, nobody has a nanny. It's like, if anything, the kid's working to help feed his siblings where I'm from.
Yeah, I understand that too. And I'm from an area similar to yours.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to like just stay in college, and I'm fucking, up to my chin in debt to the federal government. But I got 4 or 5 degrees. I doctorate, and I got into politics. I won't tell you what position I was, but but the thing is, I'm getting at, we were a coal-based economy before where I'm from, so coal was king. So back in the day, say the early 90s, all coal miners, their kids got braces. They went to good schools, fully, had houses and all that. So then you factor in, like, I guess, opioid epidemic, and then coal kind of died out. So now these places are just shriveling up to, like, these little shitholes. So, like, nobody has money, and nobody is doing anything. And the first thing a kid in my area thinks when they graduate high school, if they want to have a certain level of job security, a house or an area to live in or income, their first thought is, I have to get the fuck out of here. And that's very, very sad. And I've seen this repeated all across America, all across America, different industries, but kind of the same story, copy and paste all across.
Well, here's the problem, though. Here's the big problem with that. So with coal mining, that's going to die no matter what we do with it. The free market is going a different direction. So like right now, Joe Biden got no credit for this at all. Joe Biden got no credit, so I don't think any politician is going to actually do it again. But with the Inflation Reduction Act he did, with all the battery plants, if you look at West Virginia, a lot of these old coal mining plants and steel mills and all that stuff, you took those big ugly monsters and you built a huge brand new battery production facility. And the same people who did the other jobs can definitely handle working in these places as well. And these are much higher paying. They're better on your knees. But many Americans don't realize what those programs are doing, and now Trump's kind of killing them. And he's saying he's fine for the working class and stuff. So
we had the same thing. We took these old coal mine areas. They call them strip jobs here. It's a strip mining, and there was a few that were converted into industrial parks, and then we got appropriations through certain entities for, and actually a battery plant was one of them where I live. And I don't know what, I think the reason they pulled out was because of freight actually transporting things because of the roads. So you put a kid here, the roads are shitty, the schools are shitty, there's no industry, coal is dead, and the family structure, and then you factor in joblessness and drug use, and it's been perpetuated for probably really bad since probably mid-90s.
Yeah, well, those places live on welfare too. With the public roads, they can't pay for, like the big cities pay for the welfare there, the Medicaid, the SNAP, and that pays the people who work there, right? Yeah.
I always tell people, like, we may be hillbillies in deep Appalachia, but statistically and socioeconomically, we're no different than inner city Detroit or inner city San Francisco, inner city fucking DC. It's the same exact.
Yeah, but there's a big issue. Just really quick on that point, like in those cities, there's a super high population density. There's other systemic racist factors that led black people to be in like shitty communities, especially. Then you have an issue with rising costs, no opportunity. But there's these other stresses that they have in cities, whether it's race or being close to people or housing costs and whatever it might be.
Yeah,
those create the higher.
The same outcome?
that no, I'm saying that creates a much higher crime rate in like black communities, for example. So like I wish we could have what you're saying right now. I wish we can have some relation between that rural urban divide where there is a shared experience, but also when like a community in a city has a higher crime rate, we can't just say, well, they're all violent, we got to take in the military. We have to be able to realize like they're going through the same shit we are, but there's a little bit more on top of it, and maybe we can help each other.
Yeah, I kind of agree there. And I think if you took my area and bunched them into one little pocket, like a city, there would be military here too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same.
Yeah, it's pretty violent, but they have overdoses instead of murders. But they still die, and they still have violence too. But it's more spread out. People keep to themselves more. Housing's a lot cheaper, so there's less issues when it comes to that. People can just like go in and blow off steam somewhere, go through a ride in the countryside, which I love doing that. Which is why I feel kind of cramped in cities because I can't do that. But
yeah, you ride side by sides.
Well,
ATV.
that's the funny thing too. A lot of the old coal mining territory got turned into ATV parks too, and recreational centers, and that brought in revenue to some of these areas. But it's not consistent.
That's really kind of my push as a politician was to do that, to diversify our economy, because everybody's waiting on coal to save us again, and like it has in the past. We had booms in probably 40s, 70s, 50s, 70s, and whatever, early 90s, but like that's gone now. So like, luckily in my area, and it sounds like your area maybe, we have like a geographic honey hole. Like we have whitewater rafting, we have trails, we have ATV stuff, we have fishing, we have
I can see that. Yeah, there's a lot of rivers and stuff too,
and moonshine breweries, believe it or not. But like, people are reluctant to just switch over everything in their life to focus on that. But that's what I was kind of pushing for.
I was mad at Trump though.
Because
yeah.
But what I was going to say is like, but what makes me sad though is like, this is my home, I love it. But I would say out of 50 kids graduating, if they want a certain level of lifestyle, I'd say 40 of them are leaving. 100%, they're gone.
That's probably a good thing
so
too.
I know, but those brains and that academic success and those kind of entrepreneurs are out of here. Yeah, they're gone.
But the town doesn't want them. Whenever I come back to my hometown, like I feel like they hate me. Not because I'm a liberal, but they're envious. They're angry that I got to leave.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They people in these areas hate success, man. That's how they hate me like that too. And they give my kids shit at school. They give my kids shit at school, like, your dad's rich. Like, no, your dad fucking worked his ass off for 13 years in college. I was a weed eater, a grass cutter, and a carpenter before I became anything else.
Yeah. No, I was mad at Trump for the coal mining stuff, because everyone around me was like, they had all the signs up with Trump digs coal in 2016. I was only like 16 or 17 at the time. I'm 25 now. And I was walking around like, coal's not coming back, guys. It's not. There's no indicator it's coming back. It's not. Especially the area I'm from. That shit has been torn apart decades ago. That has been shut down. There is no coal here anymore. There's no production.
Actually dismantled. And here's another thing. If you're a liberal, which I'll probably be the opposite, but I'm not far. I'm kind of centrist, but but I would say like we had coal-fire plants. And since 2015 to now, I think we've closed maybe 11 or 13. And at the time, these companies were getting federal, enticements, kickbacks for doing that because it's not cleaner energy, close these coal plants. But what subsequently happened with that is that these coal companies, they had these deals with certain states from my area, line item thing, that they could recoup their investment on environmental changes or some bullshit like that. So
is it like the clean coal thing? The carbon capture clean coal?
No.
Oh, okay. No.
These coal companies, several of them had contracts with these electric coal fire plants.
Okay.
50-year contracts, say. So, like the Biden administration, they would get millions, if not billions, for closing that shit. So they closed it, but in their contract with the state, it said that they could recoup their loss in investment for environmental something. So, there's several people, and I gave speeches in the state representative floor on this. Like, I know guys that live in single-wide trailers that turn all their lights off every night, and him and his wife and his kids stay in the living room, and they actually use the little propane heaters with the tank, the Mr. Heater deals.
Yeah.
And this guy's paying $750 a month for electricity. And so then I have other relatives that live in the bigger cities in my state. 4,000 or 40,000, whatever, square, huge mansions, basically charging Teslas every day, and they're paying like $200, you know. So that's also on top of everything else. These rural areas are getting raped by these electric companies because of the
Well, I'll
closing of
tell
the
you
coal
what.
stuff.
In general, my vision for the future would be I would want rail transportation everywhere. I know people that would stay in these areas you're talking about if there was Amtrak, if there was an actual way to ride a train to a
Yeah.
city instead of having to drive. That would improve so much
Well,
about this country. We don't do it,
and the
but
power
also
companies,
yeah, we got to do the
co-op.
natural monopolies that the power companies have as well, and the internet companies and also hospital systems have monopolies right now that are going crazy. That's increasing prices all across the country, but we're not talking about monopolies. And this is the big thing about the conservative liberal thing. Biden did do, and I'm not a big Biden, like super big Biden guy, but Democrats in general, because Biden didn't do, like he was kind of there, you know, he was sleepy
Yeah.
Joe. But the people
He
he
was
hired,
there.
at least, the people he hired
Yeah.
with the FTC, the regulations that crack down on airlines, the monopolization they were trying to crack down on a little bit with big
Yeah.
data companies and how they manage our data. The Trump admin is doing the opposite. They are encouraging more monopolies in America. And my big thing is like the classic Teddy Roosevelt Republican progressivism, where we have to trust bust and
Yeah.
break up these companies. And if
Trust
you are a
bust
capitalist,
them,
you
bust
should want to,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
trust bust them 100%. And we have to have someone run on that platform, because without that, this country's screwed. And I imagine a system where like we should have, I want a clean basketball court and park in every community in this country. There's no reason we should not have a good place and a safe place for kids to play. We should have pride in our communities. We should be using all these resources and all this AI and all this super fancy technological advancement to make sure we have a place to play that's safe and we can come together as communities. Because most of the problems right now are we don't talk to each other anymore. We talk on Facebook, we're online, we become radicalized and hate each other. We got to be real
and
people
it's
again.
it's all identity politics, and people get pissed off before they actually have an actual substantial conversation like me and you are having right now. And like back to the guy so nationally during COVID, the average American, this is the average, you know, some more, some less, but the average American life cost $10,000 more per year, you know, just in general because prices. So like you take a school teacher where I live making 40 grand, or a coal miner, or a person working at a gas station, trying their best to working their ass off. So in general, life, you know, groceries, gas, everything adds up to about 10 G's more a year. Then you factor in these electric companies, some guy in a single wide trailer in the head of a hauler, we call them haulers, paying $700 a month for electricity. And then, you know, you just add all this stuff up. Then we go back to education, like me and you were talking about. It's like, fuck, man, what the hell? Like, how can we win?
I'll be honest, though. I've seen resources given to schools through federal government grants from the Department of Education in rural areas. And they do say, like, oh, I don't know what we're going to use this money for. We don't even care. Like, they really don't care that much. They really just feel demotivated. They don't care about this. I think it's largely because people don't want to self-improve, and they don't have any reason to self-improve, and they just waste the money, or they just don't use the grant right, or they use it for some dumb shit. Like we built a whole like high ropes course and stuff at at my school when I was growing up. Like, what are we doing with this money? No one even uses it. We should be buying better physical equipment or helping kids.
Nobody's doing parkour. Yeah. Let's get some fucking
and there's like a big thing too. Like these high school coaches get paid dog shit, but like I knew coaches in high school who saved lives, like dozens and dozens of lives, because they were a role model for kids who did not have parents. And we don't talk about that. We can't have those conversations in society anymore. Everything's about freaking Trump and Epstein and who Trump's gonna rape. Like it's just like it's such an annoying conversation. We got to be like Adam Shifty shit. We talk like a bunch of bullshit all the time.
The common American could give two shits, especially American, could get in your area, I'm guessing, could give two shits less about all that. Like fucking military in D.C., Epstein, fucking, you know, or who's raping who. Like these people, bro, they're just trying to survive. And
I wish that were true, though. It's hard for me to. I talk to people who are poor, though, and it seems like they're attracted to the reality TV shit. Like I wish I could agree with you on that point, and I do agree with you. But I feel like they feel so weak, and I think it's a personal feeling for some people as well. To be honest. And they focus on the drama topics instead.
I think you can agree with me, and I can also agree with what you're saying. So you take a person like I'm saying, working their ass off, blah blah blah. You know, like I just gave that spiel. But then they hear Trump on TV saying, "I'm for you," you know, the small man or whatever, and that's all they hear. So they're like, "Fuck yeah, Trump," you know, or whatever, or like, I don't think they really go deep into it. They're not really they're not thinking geopolitics or political analysis into the future. I just think they're like, he likes coal, he likes America. Okay, I got to go to work now.
I think he hates liberals helps them more. They're really angry about liberals and talking condescendingly to, or about pronouns and about trans and about black and about all the social issues. I think Trump is the most social issues focused president of probably all time. All he talked about was identity politics and white identity politics mostly, but like Kamala did not talk about that at all.
That goes on both sides, though. You have to admit, though, that's both sides. That's the
okay.
problem.
At Biden's State of the Union, okay, he talked about his bills to bring back
America.
American
I don't care
Rescue Plan.
I don't care about one speech. I'm
here's
just
the thing,
in
though.
general.
No,
you have
but the
to
whole
admit
presidency,
both sides.
it's not both sides though. Biden talked about American policies to bring back American manufacturing during his State of the Union address. Trump spent 80% of it attacking trans athletes. Trans athletes are like 10 people in America.
I'm saying that's two speeches, though. But I'm saying overall, both people are slinging mud, and they're doing the.
But yesterday, Trump was just talking about transgendering everybody again. Like, this is all 100% driven by. No, okay, it's 90% driven by MAGA. I'm not gonna say 100%, but like I see Democrats trying to connect to kitchen table issues, talking about corruption in politics and getting big money out of politics and getting healthcare to people. And Trump is just like, I'm here to bring a National Guard troop to show you guys that you need more protection because I know better than you do, and we're gonna make sure that we get all the ICE agents out with their fat ass beer guts and their dumb graphic tees with no identification, and they're gonna be chasing you like a Subway Surfer. It's just so stupid.
Subway Surfer. I hope they get as many coins as a Subway Surfer gets. I understand what you're saying, but I swear I could flip it to you and say the same thing. That's what I'm getting at. Like, it's on both sides. Nobody's focused on or talking about really what's needed.
I don't know, man. Okay, my final point. So the big beautiful bill was passed, okay? And there was a bill on decreasing taxes for the wealthy, and Democrats put a bunch of amendments in. First off, they said, all right, we should stop it so that no one who makes above $100 million should get a tax cut. And Republicans blocked it. And then Democrats said, all right, anyone who makes over $500 million should not get a tax cut. And Republicans blocked it. Then Democrats said, okay, if you make over $1 billion, you should not get a tax cut from this bill. And Republicans blocked it yet again. And that increased our national debt by like $5 trillion. And when Democrats do that and they want to help Americans by increasing tax on the wealthy and doing these programs that'll be really beneficial to areas like the ones that we're talking about right now, it seems like the people from and I grew up around these people. I know what they say. Like, I know what they say when NBA games come on. The disgusting shit they say about black people all the time. Like, they do focus on racial issues. They're really mad about other races. They might not say I'm racist, but they say some shit that's like, oh God, you got to chill out, bro. Like, you never talked to a black guy. Like, it's just like, I don't know. They're focused on other shit a lot of the time.
Well, I don't even think about race. I mean, I know it's a big issue, but like, luckily I was cultured with my parents growing up. But like, and I grew up around different ethnicities when my dad was in professional school. But what I'm saying is, like, that's a double-edged sword, though, like the tax break thing. So you take, because New York did this one time. They were trying to fuck with every person making $1 million or more. And what happens? They fucking move. And so you take one guy making $1 billion, and he has 5,000 employees and 3 factories. You screw with this guy, he leaves. So then what happens to that local economy? And let me keep going though. On the flip side of that, one year my dad paid more taxes than Delta Airlines, and he's a small town healthcare guy. So, like, back to the busting trust and shit, like, how that makes sense? I think me and you are very similar. I think we could meet in the middle somewhere. I think we really want the same things. I think we probably view it from a different angle. But
like, Bernie's probably the closest person to.
If we were on
the
desert island,
if
we were on desert island and somebody had a gun to our heads, I think we would agree on almost everything.
But like the person who almost became president to get closest to these policies is probably Bernie Sanders. And he did not talk about social issues that much either. Would you have voted for him?
Yeah, his party fucked him over.
I keep saying this. There's a lot of people, especially the Appalachian white types, that would have voted for Bernie over Trump because he connects to the 100%. He says the same shit Trump says, but he actually means it about taxing the wealthy and that kind of stuff. So
yeah. So like my little situation here, like I was in the state legislature, and my county was Democrat. All my grandparents were Democrat. Like, it goes back generations, and it's recently flipped to majority Republican, but for the first time since like pre-Civil War. And so like my grandparents, they looked at it like they're Kennedy Democrats, they're working man Democrats, and there's so much of this identity politics shit that's been rolled into it. So the guy that's going in the coal mines or the guy that's working on the road job, like this is so far off of what he gives a shit about compared to like what the party is now. So I think that that's another aspect of this dynamic that people maybe aren't factoring in. So like, you know, from somewhere that's been Democrat, I'm talking like 90+% Democrat since 40 something. And now all of a sudden we're probably 75% Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And so like something's in the air, and the Democrats here kind of feel like if you're a centrist, you're a middle of the bell curve Republican, basically is what their parents were as Democrats in the past. So that's kind of what
over
we're
time
doing
for sure. Let me ask you something quick. Do you have like an actual microphone?
No.
I'm just saying, if you were interested in doing anything on YouTube, let me know.
I would be, man. I love this, and I like talking to people from different.
There's you ever hear the show Breaking Points?
Oh yeah.
So I don't agree with them, both of them. A lot of things. I think they're entertaining and stuff. I think it'd be.
Dude,
like,
I don't agree with anybody.
I just thought about this idea. No, I was about to say because I'm from like a little bit of a lesser Appalachia type of thing, from a more like northeast perspective, and I think it'd be really cool. Because I know you seem pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. You said you were in this stuff a lot. I have experience in government and policy and stuff, and if you're interested, you could definitely shoot me a text message. We could talk a little bit because I think this would be an interesting opportunity to start some type of. I've been trying to find people to come on like an actual podcast type of thing with a more structured conversation, but with like microphones and cameras and webcams and stuff. If you'd be interested in that, let me know. I can give any advice you might need on any equipment you might need to get for that kind of thing.
Well,
but yeah.
I guess I can't ask you really where you're located, but I wouldn't mind to travel. I love this kind of thing, and I think I speak. I don't want to sound like a freaking pompous dickhead, but like I speak from a place that I think a lot of my former constituents and people feel, but maybe they don't know how to articulate it. And I would love to be a voice in that regards because, like, I'm telling you, like, people I interact with, mostly Democrats every day, like even today. I can't tell you what or where or why, but we're all basically on the same page. But then you fan out to other, subjects, and we kind of get discombobulated. But when you get down to it, like I'm saying, if we're on desert island with a gun to our heads, we're all basically right there with each other. All Americans
I think people listen to podcasts and stuff a lot. And you ever like J.D. Vance wrote a book called Hillbilly Elegy, and I would apply for jobs. Yeah. And before I knew who he was, someone said to me during a job interview, like, "Oh, you seem a lot like this guy from this book." So I definitely have those credentials with like addiction and all that kind of stuff in my family history. But like, I think it'd be really interesting to have like an actual center like of a random state. Like, so I'm from like the coal. I don't live there anymore, but I'm from like the coal part of like Pennsylvania. We could mute the microphones then in a little bit. I can tell you where I'm actually at. But like
same
around the coal mines and around all these like communities that fell apart with blight and everything, it'd be really cool to have something in media because there is no media response to there is some channels, but yeah, it'd be really cool to get into these issues very particularly because I think you might be the person who I make the argument a lot that a lot of Appalachian people would have voted for Bernie over Trump. I think making that case in a video, and I want to encourage Democrats to take anti-corruption stances, pro monopoly busting stances, pro labor stances, like having trains in rural areas would save rural areas, that kind of stuff. So,
and if you think about coal as far as the monopoly, like I'm sure you know the history, but like where I lived, there was coal camps. You had a coal company house. You didn't get paid in American dollars. You got paid in coal script, they call it. So you get a piece of paper that you can only spend at the coal company store. Like we were raised in this monopoly shit, and we've always been kind of underserved and manipulated. Hardworking people, basically good moral people, family-oriented people, but also manipulated by huge companies with monopolies and such. you said text you. I don't know how I can do that. Like, I don't know how we can get up with each other.
The same number you called. It's a fake number, but I still get text on there. Wait, let me mute my stuff. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I'll say I appreciate that. Something on the internet could work for sure. I'm gonna move on to my final thing for tonight, but like I said, Senna and we're unmuted now. We're unmuted. Definitely shoot a message to that number. We can exchange other contact info if you want to. But yeah, even if it's every now and then, if there's a topic that we can go over, because I do look for people who can have a regular conversation about this stuff, because a lot of people get in here and it's like I'm in debate mode. I'm gonna own you. I'm gonna make sure. Yeah, it's just like answer the question, yes or no. Answer the question. It's like that conversation is not gonna help anybody. Like I want to have like a podcast style conversation where we're just like actually you can still debate people for sure, but you debate people through conversation. It doesn't got to be anything crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to do it in a cordial way. And I think I actually hate talking to people that agree with me. I would rather talk to someone like you because, it's the opposite thing. And a lot of times, like even tonight, I'll admit I've kind of learned some things, or you put it in a way that I kind of understand what you're saying, whereas I would have been shitting on it yesterday.
Hell yeah. No, I appreciate it. It's all about framing too.
It, man. Yeah, it is. So I'll text you my information. It was really great talking to you, man. I appreciate what you're doing, and keep it up, and let's stay in touch.
Yep, same here, man. Look forward to it. All right, have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too.
Look at that. He really enjoyed this conversation. I'm sorry if I have a chance to talk to somebody who I can tell is from Appalachia, in some way. I'm like half Appalachia, so it's a really exciting chance for me to like go and explore those topics a little bit more than usual. So that I really enjoy that. I do think some type of Jonah. I like this guy. I do think that'd be a really good, like if that guy wanted to actually get equipment and stuff to do a show like that. I think he might actually be pretty good for that kind of thing. For like a Breaking Point style show. I do like that. Well, if you're in a conservative area, he seemed pretty educated. Someone said he sounded dumb right away. He just said some dumb shit. But no, I like that. We need to platform people like him we want the Republicans to be him, right? If the Republican Party had his ideology, we would be fine. We would be making bipartisan efforts at improving America, taxing the wealthy a little bit more. Maybe he's conservative on implementation or social policies, but we'd still have a way to find that common ground to actually really improve America. And I don't need to worry about them like literally, because he backed off the point of sending the military in right away. So yeah, it's not a fascist. That's how a conservative should sound. If you're not batshit crazy. Oh, now he's half Appalachian. Oh, every word to you is a big statement. Oh, I forget that I'm talking to hundreds of people. Okay, guys. So in chat, did we settle on it's fair if we do 5 hours tonight and 6 hours tomorrow? We settled on that, right? A bonus stream tomorrow for 6 hours. I was not gonna stream, but now I'm gonna stream tomorrow. But Devin never even showed up, so I've been reading your chats. Appreciate it. My air condition is also broken, so it's hot as shit in here. It's not 6 and 6. The total time was 11. I'm not adding 2 hours. Take what you get. Take what you get. I gotta do some... I need to do editing for videos. I need to be able to sleep tonight so I can edit videos and get more viewership tomorrow. If I edit videos... I'll do the, I have a doctor's appointment at 9 a.m. That's the real reason I'm doing this, because if I stay up till, if I stay up till what, 6 a.m. and I sleep 2 hours and I gotta get up, that's kind of an issue. Your AC broke, might want to get a job, true. I'll do 11 tomorrow. I'll do 5 today, 6 tomorrow. That's the deal, okay? Shake hand. Shake. Thank you. I should not do that on camera. What the hell? Oh. That's crazy. MP, thank you for $5. MP said that was a good talk. Thank you, MP. You can tell I can speak that language too. Just there's certain things you bring up that shows you know what you're about. Soy boy Jola. I have so much video to edit. It's actually kind of scary. Hey guys, look at me shooting a sick jump shot. 1 second. We're gonna watch it a few times. Oh, I love that sound. I love that sound. I love that sound, dude. Look at that. Look at that smooth. Look how smooth that is, though. It's kind of smooth. Oh, man. Oh my god. Look at that. Follow through. Oh, man. Right in the middle, dude. That's pretty deep 3. Wow. Ooh. Ooh. I'm training to join I'm training for an adult basketball league. If I join an adult basketball league, should I live stream my games? Should I live stream it? Would you guys watch that if I live stream my adult basketball league by chance? Like, would you watch it? It's just a question. You don't need to say yes. I'm just asking if you would. Thank you for $2, Andres. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You would watch it. Obviously. Sure. Talking about politics. Would it be good for my channel to do lifestyle streams? Like, not really lifestyle, but like if I wake up at like 6 a.m. one day to get a morning workout in, and I go to a park and do some workouts and I do some shoot arounds and stuff, would it be cool to have my tripod up just to I don't know, for people that are bored in the morning to hang out? Someone said no. Bang. Wow. Bang. You would lose subs? You think I would lose subs? What if I did it on my second channel? Keep it mysterious. Follow my second channel, Hikey. Okay, I'm gonna go edit, guys. I'm gonna go edit. Thank you guys for the understanding. Thank you guys for the blessings. Really appreciate you guys. Again, don't donate anymore. Okay, you already paid for the next 2 streams. All right, you're paid for the extra stream tomorrow too. We got some good conversations tonight. I just need to focus in and edit videos and you're here for it. It would be kind of cool to have a highlight reel, though, for when conservatives say, like, oh, you're a 5'2" beta who's fat and unathletic. Ask locals their opinions on politics. That would be kind of fun. I'd probably travel for that because I don't want to do it too close to anywhere where I'm actually at on a normal basis. I was in DC. I'm afraid of that, though. Talking to random people's scary. I've disagreed and debated in the chat. I think you're a good voice. Thank you so much for $5, Ryan. I really appreciate that. I've disagreed and debated in the chat. I think you're a good voice. Don't tell me what to do, Colton said for $2. Thank you. I appreciate all the compliments. It's really awesome. I'm trying to be more consistent with streaming. So yeah, tomorrow 6 hours. I'll complete the cycle. Thank you guys for money. I just realized I said don't give me any more money because you paid for the stream. Thank you so much. MP again $5. Sri $5. Let me check again. Last night, Lori said, you know, $10 for being so sexy and cute, Pookie Bear. Thank you, Lori. No, I think it was a pretty good stream, though. I'm happy with it. The first conversations I felt terrible for. I had to get my glasses on. They were dumb. God, dude. I should say no libertarians. Okay. You're a libertarian. No. Well, you are the exception. Okay. Okay, the libertarian that annoys me is someone who says that they have all the answers and there's no questions. They know their system's better. And then I ask for an example of a policy that can work, and they say, like, well, the 1700s is actually when it worked. I still like you. I'll still debate you. Okay, I'll still debate you. I'm sorry. I think libertarian is just a bad ideology. And again, libertarian means different things to different people. I know libertarians who are like anarcho-libertarians where they want like society to fall apart and just live in like primitive states. And then I know some who are like libertarians where they're like, you know, you can have some negotiations and get in the middle on some topics. But then you still are going to be very anti-government, you know? Like a very anti-government Republican, sort of. No, but I appreciate that, Ryan. I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate you engaging in the conversation. Speaking of engaging in the conversation, if you want updates on the stream when I go live, if you want to be part of our community on Discord, we have people talking in there almost every night. People have been busy lately doing other things like D&D. But here's Discord links to join it. And also in my profile, my air conditioner is about to blow up again, by the way. My profile has my Discord on there. My Discord, join Discord through my profile. Ryan said I'd buy somebody a cheeseburger. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, Discord on my profile, under my video descriptions, under my stream description. Join Discord. We want more Discorders, please. If my channel ever got blocked by the Trump administration, Discord will keep us safe as well. But yeah, thank you guys again. Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't do the 10 hours today. I had a more tiring day than I expected. I probably should have planned it for a weekend. But I gotta go to a wedding on Saturday, so I couldn't do Friday. So now we're splitting it up, 5 hours tonight, 6 hours tomorrow. Once it hits 6 minutes, I'm gone. Bang! Oh! Bang! 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 So many shorts. Oh my god. Oh my god. So many shorts. What's my first ever YouTube short? Trump can't walk. He falls a lot. You know, Biden falls sometimes too. They're both like 95 years old. Joe Biden has ridden a bicycle. I would like to see Trump ride a bike. Trump plays golf. I think we should respect them for their athletic abilities at their age. All right? No more hating these people. No more hating these presidents. Donald Trump is like 95. His heart rate is dictated off of burgers per minute, BPM, from McDonald's. Joe Biden is very old. You know, he's a little fragile. But somehow Trump still has a pretty good drive in golf. I don't like golf, but his swing is pretty nice looking. Joe Biden can ride a bike at 98 years old. It's pretty impressive. Research right to repair and fight against anti-ownership laws. Are you a Louis Rossman fan? I watch Louis Rossman. You watch Louis Rossman? He's the pro repair activist, right? I watch Louis Rossman. I'm hip. I'm hip. I think my air conditioner is actually dying. Bro, what the? MP, thank you for $20. Thank you for $20, MP. Thank you so much. No, like legit, my air conditioner just died. I'm not even kidding. Like it literally just stopped working. It's done. Like I turned it back on. It's not working. I think it's fried. I think it's fried. Not gonna lie, I think it's fried. That's not good. Thank you, MP, for $20. Thank you for supporting my air condition trauma. I watched Louis. Yeah, Louis Rossman. He's fine. He's like a centrist, libertarian leaning guy. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the support. Maybe just frozen. Let me try turning it back on. I just unplugged it for a few seconds. Thank you. I'm gonna have to buy a fan. God smited his AC in real time, bro. It was making a noise earlier, like, and then I shut it off because it does that sometimes. You know, I have an apartment, but the landlord's like, we can't find a AC that'll fit the window, so we can't replace it. And now it's literally just broken. It's not working at all. So I'm gonna need to buy a fan and use the upstairs AC. They're window units. It's a window unit for AC. So I'm gonna have to get a fan and use that to blow the air down from upstairs. It's not a good situation. They're window units and they're built into the wall of my apartment. But the landlord, I have yet to have a good experience with the landlord. No one I know has had a good experience with the landlord. That's bullshit and you know it? Yeah, it's probably bullshit. To be fair, it is an older air conditioner, and it has worked fine, but it's not a window unit. It's a hole cut in the wall for this air conditioner in particular, and it's screwed in. So they would need to cut a hole in the wall and redo it for a new fan, for a new AC. They're from the 1970s, an apartment. Yeah. These are like they have like a side AC. Wait, let me look up the model. I'll Google it real quick. High efficiency, Amana, and all these apartments have the same shit coil oven thing. You know what I mean? The coil oven. Yeah, but Let's see if I can find it. No, that's too fancy. It can't be that one. That one has... it's a dial one. Dial. I'm on a side vent window AC. It's a side shooter, but it's not the nice one. They only have electronic ones nowadays with the electronic panels. But it's like... it's kind of like this. It's kind of like this one, but with knobs, if you know what I mean. Whoopsies. It has knobs on it. The one I have here. It's the old version of this. It's like a side loader. It comes out the side. But yeah, it's a super old AC. Portable AC? I don't want to buy a portable AC. I just sold one. And the apartment covers it, obviously. Like the apartment covers the AC repairs. It's just if the landlord... I guess it's been giving me issues for like a year now. So maybe since it's finally broken... maybe since it's finally broken, he'll replace it. He'll actually replace it this time. Wait, let me try one more time. Oh no. Nah, that's just a fire hazard, bro. That's just a fire hazard, bro. I turned it on. It didn't work on the I think the fans broke on it, cuz the fan setting won't work, but I you turn it to the cool setting and the radiator turns on. So I'm thinking the squeaking noise was the fan, and the squeaking from the fan was showing it was coming off, and the fan probably came off, so now it's rotating without the fan blades connected in there. So that's why the radiator turns on, but there's no air coming out. But I will be honest, though, it did not make that noise when I tried before. So maybe it's just slowly dying and becoming fried. I think it's fried. I think I should stop turning it on, because I agree, Kelly. I agree. Landlords, I've had bad experiences. I'll send them a text message. Yeah, it's like it's been 90 degrees out per day. How hot tomorrow? Yeah, it's gonna be 87 and sunny tomorrow, and that's a little too warm for my liking. It's just not comfortable. It could be 94 in a few days. Yeah, I'm gonna send him a text message. Is it bad to text your landlord at midnight? Can I do that? It's a text, right? I can do that. To give him proof. Yeah, send him a video of this. No AC with the same dimensions. They need to pick an AC and adjust the whole dimensions. I agree. Or maybe I'll float to him the idea of getting me a portable one. Maybe I'll say like, hey, I know you don't want to replace the window unit, but I wouldn't mind that. If I said, hey, I want to replace the window unit, but if you don't want to do that, then you can get me a portable one. I'd be fine with portable. I'd be okay with portable. It's okay. It's a health issue. He gonna block you? Do it unironically? Okay. Unplug the unit. Try unplug it. Is it a fire hazard, do you think? Considering I can't move it if anything went wrong on it. I unplugged it. You see, this is what happens when you I talk about this from the outside. Devin wasn't here for the deliberations about how we're going to end the stream that Devin paid for. But I'm going to give Devin it back. I'm going to have to give Devin mod in Discord to make up for it. It is a fire hazard. You teach campfire safety, LMAO. Yeah, the engine's going. A formal demand letter. Does a text message work as a formal demand? Devin, stop, Devin. You sent 5 gifted subs. Devin, stop. Here's the plan. Don't send any more money. Do not send any more money to my account. Don't. Stop. Devin, please. Thank you. But don't. we had a plan. So I was not going to stream tomorrow. So I'm doing the 5 hours tonight, and I'm doing the 6 hours tomorrow. Devin, no. Listen. You're not going to want to get more money after I do this. We're doing the 6 hours tomorrow to split up the 11 hours, okay? We're splitting up the 11 hours. Thank you, Devin. I really appreciate it. If I leave it on, yeah, it'll be a fire hazard. Okay, no money, no coffee for you, no Venmo, no nothing, Devin. No coffee. You already paid your dues, and I'll feel guilty. The more you do this. Thank you for the 5 gifted, though, Devin. The panic? I'm panicking because I hate talking to landlords, okay? I need something to calm me down. I need something to calm me down, dude. You know what calms me down, guys? No, I was going to say I appreciate you guys watching and talking to me. It's not just a political thing. We're really buds. We're really best pals. We're becoming best pals. Here, this calms me down. This is from my childhood, guys. It's Flight of the Hamsters from codename Kids Next Door. So you gotta see how far you make the hamster fly. And I want a new record. And it's gonna help me unwind for the rest of the night. Alright. Let's see how far we can get. There's a bunch of like tricks and stuff. This is a really old game. Back in the day. Alright. Good start. We gotta protect the bubble. A good bubble. We want some like... Oh no, that's not good. We want some fans to help us out to move forward. Oh, that sucks. You remember Hamster Flight from your childhood or when I played it before? Because I definitely played it before. Core memory unlocked. Come on, brother. Okay, we got a board. Come on, give me a launch pad. Come on. I'm hitting the button so hard. I failed. From your childhood? You guys played it during your childhood? What's some other Flash games you played during your childhood? Balloon Tower Defense? I still play that on my phone. BTD 6. If anyone plays Catan, I said before I'll play Catan with you guys. If you guys want to play Catan on stream on Sunday night. Does anyone play Catan? Yes, Rocket. Yes. That's what we want. That's what we need. We need a bouncy now. Come on, give me a bouncy. Come on, I worked really hard for this, dude. Whatever. Out for a date? You better send me some money if you want to go on a date, buddy. We could play Catan. We can have multiple games of Catan. After the stream's over. We'll stream it, though. We'll still stream the game. I'm off my game right now, dude. There we go. There we go. There we go. Kitten cannon. You can play Catan. So the game's gonna be Devin, Teresa, and one more person for Catan. Oh, the big donor class. Here we go. Yes. That's what we need. That's what we want. Yes. Bro, this is what you need. A double? Come on. Historic run right now. Locked and loaded. Let's go. Yep. Oh, we're done. We gotta get a rocket here, hopefully, by luck. All right, that was 310. I want to get over 1,000 combined. I'll go to bed then. I mean, I need more subs. No. If I get over 1,000 combined, I'm done. Come on, give me a boost pad, dude. All right, only 50. We got to make up for it with these other runs. There's one. There's one. There's two. 3, 4. Yes. Oh, baby. This feels good. I'm getting high right now. I'm high right now on this. This is what I do for highness. This is my drug. Nice. Give me some boosters. Give me some boosters. Yes. Oh, flawless. Oh, come on. Oh, man. Yes. There we go. Here we go. Yep. Mm-hmm. No, I missed both of the boosts. I needed those bad. Come on. Come on. Come on, Nancy Pelosi. Star portfolio. Come on, Nancy Pelosi. Come on, Nancy. Nancy, 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 Nancy. Alright, that's 450. We're gonna get 1,000. Secret laboratory. Insane run. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got 3 more to get 1,000. Then we're going to bed. There we go. There we go. You gotta spam it to fly sometimes. You really gotta spam that thing. Spam it. You need speed. So if you get the rockets, that's really the goal. Nice. 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 More rockets, please. I want to hit higher speeds. I'm missing them. Where's the rockets at, dude? There's one. Yeah! We caught that. We caught that. I didn't want to do that. Rocket. Rocket. More rockets. Come on, spam. Spam. No, I didn't hit fast enough, dude. That's over. The run's over. Unless if I get saved by God himself. No. No. Alright, we're gonna hit 1,000 at least. I go to bed. Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. No, I needed that. I needed that. I needed that. No. Yes. No, I evaded the thing I needed. It's the donor class. It's the donor class. Come on. Hit the bouncer. Hit the bouncer. Hit the bouncer. Kitten cannon ripoff. What? Cartoon Network Gaming used to be the thing. These games are going crazy on Facebook back in the day. There was one where you like throw an elf or a penguin or some shit. That's the end of our run. Over 1,000, right? Yeah, easy. All right, 1,300. Good runs, guys. What are the specs? What specs? On my computer? I have a 4070. It's like 90 something K. i9. I want one really good run before I get off. Why'd I do that? Why'd I do that? Good. More rockets, please. Where are they at, though? Shit. I'm a star boy. No, I missed all the rockets. I'm at the mercy of the game right now. Yes! That's not good. Not good. Not good. Okay, what is this kitten cannon game, dude? What is it? What is this kitten cannon game? Someone said kitten cannon. Is that a game?
I know what I'm doing. I know how horrific it is. Whenever I taste the cinnadust, I know I do it all again. Must cinnadust.
What is this game, bro? What? How do I... Is it space bar? Bro, that's messed up. That's messed up, dude. Why is my cat dead? Why is my cat dead, dude? Why do you tell me to play cat cannon? I thought it was gonna be a fun game. Why is my cat dead? Why is my cat dead, dude? That's messed up, dude. I can't believe I left my actual game for this, dude. What the hell? Dude. Just for you, I'm going all off right now. I'm going off like crazy. Give me a historic run. Come on, Rockets. I need Team Rocket on my team. Come on, Rocket. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. It's too high in the air. Dang it. Boing. I missed both of the boosts? Alright, this is my last one. This is my last one. This is my last one. This one right here is my last one. I'm going to bed then, guys. Alright. Alright, guys. I hope you have a good night. Like I said, I'm going to do the 5 hours today. And since I was not going to stream tomorrow, I'm going to do 6 hours tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be better to do anyway for viewership and calls and everything. Really appreciate everyone watching. Thank you so much. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, Devin. I'm going to put Devin's name at the top of tomorrow's stream so everyone knows that Devin did it. Okay? Devin did it. He's the diddle. Like P. Diddy. Devin is like the P. Diddy of my Discord, guys. Getting the party together. Have a blessed night. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Peace.